Hello, everybody, and welcome to this morning's live broadcast of the Atlas V launch of NASA's Perseverance Mars rover. Thank you all for joining in. Over the next few minutes, we will be going over some fun facts, and then we will switch over to our photographer who is just off site. His name is Michael Can with Cold Life Photography, and he will show you a little bit of his setup right before the launch takes off. Okay, we're going to be bringing on Michael a little early this morning. Let's go ahead and switch over to him.
Hey guys, this is Michael Kane here with Cold Life Photography. I'm at the press site here about 5 miles away?
Close to like 3 or 4.
Well, maybe 4 miles away from the launch pad here at the Air Force base in Cape Canaveral. So excited to be able to be here and shoot and provide coverage for everyone. So today I have actually 4 cameras set up. So I'm going to go over my setup and explain what I'm attempting to do. So let me go ahead and switch the camera around and go over my equipment. So this right here at the very top, at the top of that capsule is where we find the Perseverance rover. And again, Perseverance, its main mission is going to be landing in an area known as Jezero Crater. All right, so right here we're looking at my Nikon D500. It's with a 200 to 500 millimeter lens. I also have a teleconverter here that allows me to get a 1.4 multiplier. So I have a total of 700 millimeters towards the rocket, which is that way. Let's see if we can actually pull up an image here of what the rocket looks like from my camera right now. So right here, this whole setup that I have, it's really sturdy tripod here with the gimbal. Allows me to basically put all the weight of the camera onto the tripod, and then I can also track the rocket manually. So this right here allows me to essentially move the camera with ease, and then I can, as it's flying in the air, I can go ahead and track it along, getting close-up shots of the rocket. So the phone's actually going to go up here during the live stream as it launches, and then as I'm following the rocket with my camera, the phone will hopefully get a little bit of video of that as well. So moving on to my second setup. This is a Nikon D30 7200 with a 400 millimeter lens. What I have here set up is I have 2 ND filters. These ND filters reduces light that comes to the camera, allow me to take a long exposure of the launch. So essentially, I'm going to get a streak shot off the pad. The two ND filters that I have is a 6-stop and a 10-stop, and it allows me to get a 30-second exposure. And what I'll do is I'll do multiple 30-second exposures, and then I can stack them together if I do get multiple. The third rig that I have here is it's a cheap Nikon 3200. It does have a filter on it as well. It's a screw-on filter. It's going to allow me to get a 30-second exposure as well. This is a whole lot wider. It's only 11 to 16 millimeter, and with this 11 millimeter wide angle lens, I'll be able to get a bunch of different shots as it's going over the pad. And last but not least, this is another 3200 Nikon. This has a 70 to 200 millimeter lens and an external shotgun mic. I'm hoping to get some video with this setup. This is kind of experimental. I just picked up the mic and just kind of playing around with it. Figured why not use it and see what I can do. So a lot of media here, all doing live streams and setting up and getting ready for this upcoming launch. So it's actually sun's starting to rise here. It's getting really hot, but weather's looking good. We got clear skies. Everything is nominal, and we should be getting a launch here shortly. So excited to be able to bring you guys up close and see the rocket and the launch and everything, and kind of show you behind the scenes on the setup and what we're doing here. So I'm going to pass it on to you, Kyle, and then I'm going to get ready to start taking some shots.
Thank you for that, Michael. That was an awesome setup presentation. I greatly appreciate that, and I know everybody watching does as well. We're going to go over some fun facts here shortly and show a little pre-video clip from ULA on the flight plan and the different stages of the rocket launch today.
Three, two, one. Main engine start, 0, and liftoff of the Atlas V.
The Atlas V RD-180 main engine and 4 solid rocket boosters ignite to generate more than 10.2 million newtons, or 2.3 million pounds of thrust, to lift the rocket on its way towards a hyperbolic escape trajectory. Shortly after liftoff, Atlas begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the dynamic pressure the vehicle experiences during flight. The Atlas V reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound, at 35 seconds. Following burnout, the 4 SRBs are jettisoned at 1 minute 49 seconds. In the next 2.5 minutes of first stage flight, the Atlas V will more than triple its velocity. At 3 minutes 27 seconds, the payload fairing is jettisoned. At 4 minutes 22 seconds, propellant levels deplete and the booster engine shuts down. 6 seconds later, the Atlas Centaur separation system activates to release the booster stage. The vehicle now weighs a little more than 5% of what it did at liftoff. 10 seconds later, the first burn of the Centaur main engine begins. Burning liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, the Centaur is attaining orbital velocity. At approximately 11.5 minutes into flight, cutoff of the Centaur main engine, or MECO-1, occurs. The mission now enters a 30-minute coast phase in preparation for the Earth escape burn. The Centaur main engine is restarted at 45 minutes. This burn provides the required thrust for Centaur to escape Earth orbit. Approximately 8 minutes later, final cutoff of the Centaur main engine occurs. This completes powered flight. Centaur will coast for nearly 5 minutes in preparation for spacecraft separation. At about 57.5 minutes, Centaur releases the spacecraft into a hyperbolic orbit, traveling at more than 41,000 kilometers, or nearly 26,000 miles per hour, on a 7-month cruise to Mars, where it will seek signs of ancient life on the red planet and collect rock and soil samples for possible return to Earth.
That was a short clip from the ULA Facebook page. We greatly appreciate them putting that together prior to this flight. I hope everybody watching is ready for this historic mission. I know I am. It's been a pretty long time since we have been to Mars. A little fun fact about Mars missions. The first flight that we had actually ever sent up there was in 1965. Thank you, Terry, for asking. The launch is actually scheduled for 7:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is here in about 6 minutes. This Atlas V rocket is actually going to be launched at the Cape Canaveral launch site. Another fun fact about ULA, they've had about 1,300 missions over the past 50 years between the Atlas and Delta rockets. The Perseverance rover will actually be on Mars searching for ancient life as well as collecting rock and soil samples to hopefully bring back to Earth. Two minutes and 30 seconds until launch. Perseverance is actually supposed to be landing on about February. T-minus 1 minute. Thirty seconds. Ten. Mach 1, Atlas 5 is now supersonic. You're now going to be switching over to ULA's and NASA's live feed. Thank you, Michael, for covering the beginning of the launch. Now NASA will take it over from here. The landing site of this Perseverance rover will actually be the Jezero Crater on Mars. The Perseverance rover actually has a nuclear battery as well. It's something a lot of people don't know. Thank you everyone for joining us today on this historic launch, and we hope to see you again for the next one.